Welcome, listener. Tonight, we're climbing into the thin, bitter air of the high Himalayas, where the wind never quite stops, and something tall and dark has been walking the snow for longer than anyone can remember. For centuries, the people who live beneath those mountains have spoken of a creature they call the Yeti. Not a spirit exactly, and not quite an animal. In the old stories, it appears in different forms. Some tell of a massive black-furred giant called the Nyalmo, said to stand nearly 15 feet tall and fierce enough to tear a yak apart. Others speak of the smaller reddish-brown figures that move through the forests lower down the slopes. To many Sherpa and Tibetan families, the Yeti was never just a story told around the fire. It was a presence, a warning, a thing you did not want to meet alone on a high pass after the light began to fade. Western climbers began hearing those stories in the early 1900s, and some of them came back with accounts of their own. In 1925, a photographer named N.A. Tombazi was working near the Zimu Glacier when he spotted a dark figure roughly 200 or 300 yards away. It was walking upright, stopping now and then to tug at the low rhododendron bushes. It wore no clothes. After about a minute, the figure disappeared into the rocks. Later, when Tombazi and his party descended, they found its tracks in the snow, somewhat human-shaped, large, and clearly made by something they had never come across. The story that truly fixed the Yeti in the world's imagination came 26 years later. In 1951, the British mountaineer Eric Shipton was exploring the Menlung Basin, west of Everest, with Michael Ward. High on the glacier, at around 15 or 16,000 feet, they found a line of footprints stretching across the snow. The prints were large, longer, and much broader than any human foot. Shipton laid his ice axe beside one of them and took a series of photographs. The tracks continued for nearly a mile, crossing crevasses that would have stopped most animals. The men followed them until darkness forced them to make camp. Shipton never claimed to know what made those prints. He only said they did not belong to any creature known to live in those mountains. The photographs traveled the world. Newspapers called the creature the Abominable Snowman, and for a time, the high Himalayas seemed full of possibility. Expeditions went looking. Most of the physical evidence eventually pointed toward bears. Himalayan brown bears, Tibetan blue bears, even the occasional black bear whose tracks, in melting snow, can look startlingly human. DNA studies of hair and bone samples labeled Yeti have time and again returned the same quiet answer, a species of bear. And yet the stories refuse to die, because the mountains are vast, because the weather can erase a trail in minutes, because men who have spent their lives in those high places still speak of something that watches from the ridgelines and vanishes when you turn your head. The Sherpa guides who know the slopes better than any outsider still lower their voices when the subject comes up. They do not laugh the way city people do. They simply look toward the higher peaks and change the subject. So the question lingers in the thin air, the same way it has for generations. What left those tracks on the Menlung Glacier that cold day in 1951? What did Tombazi see pulling at the rhododendrons? And why do so many who have walked those lonely trails still glance over their shoulder when the wind shifts and the snow begins to fall? What do you think? Is the Yeti nothing more than a bear misunderstood by frightened travelers? Or is there still something large and unknown moving through the higher snows of the world? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoy this type of content and would like us to make more, please like and subscribe so we know that you do. Until next time. Stay spooky.